The issue is in our county, we don't have a lot of facilities that really lend themselves to be suitable places for voting.
You'll have less places to vote in person on Election Day in Flagler County. Flagler County Commissioners unanimously approved a drop in voter precincts or polling locations from 23 to 21. Supervisor of Elections Katie Lenhart says the county is seeing less people voting in person and more opting for vote by mail or early voting. The data shows less than 12,000 people came out to vote on Election Day in 2020, even amid a rise in population and registered voters. That's compared to more than 23,000 in-person Election Day voters in 2004.
The last change was in 2017, and those precinct boundaries were adjusted to balance our voter population among our neighboring precincts. Prior to that, we had precincts reduced from 35 to 23 locations in 2012.
Lenhart talks about some of the issues her department faces going forward.
Precincts must be ADA accessible and large enough to safely accommodate the number of voters that you expect to turn out on Election Day. We don't have a lot of community centers or other large public buildings in the areas of the large residential populations.
Early voting sites will increase from 3 to 4, with Flagler Beach getting its own site. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you.
It was a contentious issue just months ago when council was considering ending a lease agreement with the Green Lion Cafe at the Palm Harbor Golf Club. Residents of the community came out in droves in support of the Green Lion.
Family and I have enjoyed many great meals and family gatherings at this fine restaurant. I believe that the voice of the community will make it clear that the existence of this restaurant is a priority amongst all.
I've heard several council members calling this a sweetheart deal. The Marlows weren't handed any deal. They worked with the city to make this work out. Once again, no one else had come forward to bid on this property.
At the time, Palm Coast Mayor David Alvin gave kudos to the public for speaking out.
In today's political climate, that we can have so many residents, so many neighbors, so much of our community attend an event and perform with such decorum.
Tonight, Palm Coast City Council will hear from its Community Development Department on what fair market value for the space looks like as it considers new terms for a new lease with the Green Lion. Co-owner Chris Marlowe also spoke out at Council's meeting back in February.
Green Lion has been a part of the solution that has literally saved the city and taxpayers millions of dollars. We're not taking all the credit. We've done it together. We should be celebrating our success and what we've achieved together.
Council meets at 6 o'clock tonight. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Amy Cherry.
Flagler County deputies save a Bunnell man's life.
Flagler County Sheriff's Office deputies and the life-saving technology they're equipped with have given a Bunnell man a fighting chance of survival after being found unresponsive. Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley says deputies responded to a Briarwood Street residence after his wife called 911 and began to administer CPR to her husband. When deputies arrived, life-saving efforts began with the use of automated external defibrillators FCSO deputies carry in their patrol vehicles.
The paramedics took over and stated that if it had not been for the actions of the deputies with the AED and performing first aid, this gentleman likely may not have survived. I commend our deputies for their outstanding performance.
Sheriff Staley says often our deputies are first on the scene of medical emergencies, especially in our rural areas, and that's why our deputies are trained and prepared for medical emergencies. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
Flagler County's Tourism Development Office is recognizing those working in the industry. Tourism Development Office Executive Director Amy Lukasic says it's their way of observing National Tourism and Travel Week. As a thank you, tourism staff will distribute eco-friendly gifts to industry workers throughout the county, including restaurant workers.
We do ask that this week you just take the time as you're out and about in restaurants to thank those workers for showing up. Give a little bit extra tip if you can do so.
Gamble Rogers Memorial State Recreation Area Park Services Specialist Stephanie York says she loves that her job isn't the same thing every day.
In a given week, I could be on the beach marking a sea turtle nest. I could be leading a program interpreting to our visitors the natural and cultural resources of the state park. I could be providing orientation for new volunteers.
Flagler Auditorium box office manager and volunteer coordinator Heather Turdo says she loves working with the public.
I love talking to them on the phone when they call to order tickets. I love discussing the various shows we have here. And so when they come in, lots of them come in right to the box office to purchase the tickets, and then we'll bring them inside and we'll show them the auditorium.
Flagler County Travel and Tourism supports nearly 5,000 jobs, generating over $4 million in economic impact. There are treatments out there for COVID.
Dr. Stephen Bickle says there's Paxlovid, there are monoclonal antibodies, and there's remdesivir. He said they all work.
They're all highly effective, like 80 to 90% reduction in hospitalization rates in high-risk people who get those early on in their exposure to COVID.
Bickle said the time to get the treatments is when you first notice that you're sick with COVID.
By the time you get really sick, the treatments don't really work. You're out of that window.
Listen to Flagler Health Matters on Saturday mornings at 11:30 here on WNZF and anytime on the Flagler radio app. Tomorrow we're talking hurricanes. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.